Hello Disney fam, my name is Sam. Welcome to Sam's Magic Finds. I have recently come off my very first Disney cruise and I am here to tell you all about it. From the very beginning, I'm talking booking, packing, all your planning until the very end. So if you want to find out more, make sure you check out the rest of the videos coming soon. And here we go. Like I said, we're going to start at the very beginning with the booking process. As a first-time Disney cruiser, this was slightly confusing. You have to learn the language. You can either do this through a travel agent or you can do it yourself through the Disney Cruise Line website. When it comes to booking your staterooms, make sure you have an idea of what you want. You can get ones that are just the room, no windows to the outside world. You can get ones that have a porthole but no doors leading you outside. You can get a veranda, which has obviously a veranda you can step out onto, and they go up from there into suites and so on. However, there is one important detail that you do need to know, and it's called a guarantee stateroom. When booking your cruise, it will ask if you want to do a guaranteed or non-guaranteed. Non-guaranteed means you can look at a floor plan of the ship, pick what deck you want to be on, and what stateroom, subject to availability, of course. A guaranteed stateroom means that you select, say you want a veranda, you say a veranda guaranteed room, and the ship will assign you a room. Here's the catch. You might get assigned a room with an obstructed view. This obstructed view could be a tiny pole, or it could be one of the lifeboats. However, you also might, if you're lucky, get upgraded. So let's say you picked a veranda room. You would only ever go veranda, maybe a suite if you're super lucky, and it does happen. Generally, your guaranteed staterooms are cheaper. Now, this may not be by much, so sometimes you want to know what room you're in and it's worth the extra $200 to just pick your floor and pick your room. However, sometimes Disney Cruise Line does run specials and the difference is massive. I'm talking over $1,000 difference between non-guaranteed and guaranteed stateroom. So if you're happy to take the gamble and you're not really fussed on your room, go the guaranteed stateroom if there's a special on. That's what I did for this Disney cruise and we had an incredible room. No obstructed views, it was stunning. So when you're looking to book your room, what kind of room do you want? No ocean view, veranda, suite, and then have a look at the guaranteed price versus the non-guaranteed price. All right, you've taken the plunge, you've done it, and you have booked your cruise and you are setting sail on the 3rd of January. Go with me here. Flights. If you have to fly to your starting destination, for example, I live in Perth, I had to fly to Auckland, New Zealand, you want to make sure you have at least one day in that city before your cruise. Why? Things happen. Flights get delayed, luggage gets lost, and once you're on the ship, they can't get your luggage to you. If you miss your boarding time, they don't wait for you. So give yourself at least one day in that city before your cruise leaves. Plus, then you get an extra day to visit the city that you're in. In terms of getting back home, for example, my cruise ended in Sydney and I had to get back to Perth. Do not book a flight before midday. As much as they try, and they're pretty good at this, the latest time people disembark the ship is probably midday. If you have a flight at 1 o'clock, that is going to be a very stressful transition from the ship to your airport, and sometimes you might have to travel over an hour to get there. So make sure you book a flight after midday. I would say from 4 o'clock onwards is a safe bet. There is no need to get stressed as soon as you come off a cruise. Trust me, you're going to be in such a great place. You don't want to spoil it with flight stress. Okay, you've booked your cruise, you've booked your flights. Let's get on to the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. You can find this through your app store and it comes onto your phone very easily. If you don't already have one, you will need to create an account so that you can log in. And on this app, you'll have access to different things depending where you are in the lead up to your cruise. You must download this app. This is not an optional because everything on the ship runs through the app. And you can jump straight on in and have a look at the facilities already there. You can take a tour of your ship deck by deck to find out where things are. You can look at the onboard gifts available. This does not mean what the shops have in them. Let me clarify that, but onboarding gifts in case you want to celebrate a birthday, buy some water to be in your room, put an onboard credit in there. I'll give you all those details later on in this video. You can look at what port activities are available to you. And this is where you're going to start booking things as well. So it's really important you have it before your cruise. It is also where you will do your check-in. Speaking of check-in, this is super important. Check-in times and dates are all according to American times. Why are check-in times important? Firstly, the sooner you check in, the earlier you are able to board. People who have sailed multiple times with Disney Cruise Lines will get more access earlier on. That doesn't mean you miss out if you're a first-time cruiser. Our check-in time was 12:15. I think that was the earliest possible time you can do for a first-time sailor. It also means you have first pick of the onboarding activities. For example, the Royal Gathering, which is a great time saver. It is where all 4 to 5 princesses, depending on the ship that you're on, come out at once and you have a dedicated time to meet them. This means you are not having to line up as much throughout the cruise to meet each princess. The Royal Gathering does book out and it is very, very rare that people cancel it. So if you want to do that, make sure you are looking at that clock and as soon as check-in is done, you go to the Royal Gathering. Things like Palo on the Wonder, which is the non-included dining experience, the like fancy exclusive one, they book up really quickly as well. So check-in time, really important to make sure that you get a good boarding time and access to all the activities that do book up on board really quickly. How do you know when to check in? You will be sent an email from Disney Cruise Line with your check-in time and date. It should also say on the app when you try to check in when you'll be able to do that. Top tip for checking in, do not check in on your phone or tablet. Do it on a desktop or a laptop. 1, it is much easier to navigate. 2, it works faster. 3, people have less issues checking in from a laptop. When you go to check in, make sure you have all the documentation that you're going to need for you and the rest of your party with you, because if you have to text someone to send you a picture of themselves and you have to wait 3 hours for them to finish work, that's 3 hours of check-in time and booking activities that you have missed. So have it all ready to go, include your passport, any other documentation like visas that you're going to need before the check-in begins. Check-in summary, have all of your documentation ready to go. Check your emails to know what date and time your check-in starts, and remember it is USA dates and times. The earlier you do the check-in, the better boarding time you will get and the higher chance of you getting those onboard activities that you want are. What else can we do in this Navigator app? Like I said, there are onboard gifts. This does not mean that you can see what merchandise there will be in the shops, but you can have a look at the onboard gifts. If you're celebrating a birthday and you want to get some Disney cupcakes, you want to have 24 bottles of water in your room ready to go with the collectible water bottles. If you want to celebrate an anniversary, get the room decorations, any of those sorts of things, or buy someone a gift voucher for their cruise, this is where you do that. You go into the onboard gifts and you can select it. Please remember, all prices in the app for port activities, onboard gifts, anything, are in US dollars. Here is something that you should know. They will use the onboard credit before anything else. On your Disney Cruise tab, basically, you get all your port activities. If you want to buy like a cocktail, anything like that, it all goes onto your tab. Any credit that you have purchased will be used first. So I had put money on for me to go to the shops and buy things with, thinking that they would just leave a little gift card in my room. That's not what happens. It goes into your account and it's the first bit of money to get used up. So just keep that in mind. You can get onboard credit, but it will get used for anything put on your stateroom tab, whether you bought it or someone else bought it. All right, we've booked our cruise. We have booked our flights. We have the Navigator app and we are ready to start packing. But what do you pack? You're gonna want some bathers. You don't need to bring a towel. No towels necessary. They have so many towels, not even a face towel. Don't bring a towel. I would say a mixture of long and short bottoms. It can get quite cold sometimes on the ship, so having a pair of jeans or long pants, great idea, as well as shorts if you're in a summer season sailing. And then again, t-shirts, long sleeve tops, tank tops, singlets, whatever you feel comfortable in. People will go as Disney as they want or as casual. There is no expectation. However, most people do have a Disney themed something, whether it's a necklace, a shirt, the pants, the bag, the whole thing, ears, lanyard. That is up to you. Go as Disney or non-Disney as you want, just be comfortable. Depending on the length of your sailing, you may or may not have a formal and or semi-formal night. These are not compulsory. They are not going to stop you going into a venue because you are not dressed correctly, except for Paolo's. So if you have a formal or semi-formal night, you can choose to do these. The only time you are expected to have a nicer dress standard is if you do the non-included dining, for example, Paolo's, then you do need to adhere to dress standards. Make sure you check the restrictions for electricals. You cannot just take a standard plug. You cannot take an extension board. Check the information, do a little bit of Google research, and get your equipment based on that. Our veranda stateroom, I think we had 3 or 4 power points, but because each of our plugs had like 4 USB ports, we were totally fine. We didn't actually need that many. There is a hairdryer in your bathroom. It's not amazing, but it does get the job done. So you shouldn't need to bring one of those. But if you want to bring a curling wand, a hair straightener, go for it. In terms of shoes, honestly, I would just pack for comfort. Something that you can wear all day and walk around the ship in. You do walk a lot. Maybe a pair of thongs and then some formal shoes, should you want them for an outfit. I ended up taking 5 pairs of shoes and I think I used 3 of them. So really, don't waste the weight, don't waste the space, be really realistic. Some people like myself do Disney bound, but not everyone does. Again, dress for what you want. In terms of toiletries, things you do not need to pack: soap, shampoo, conditioner. You will be supplied with those 3 things in your stateroom. So unless you have specialty products that you need, don't waste the space. You do need toothpaste and a toothbrush and any other creams that you would like, but your essentials are done for you. Do keep in mind there is a laundry on board, so if you don't want to take that many clothes and you're happy to do a little bit of washing, do that. When we talk about packing, something that you should consider is pixie dust. What is pixie dust? Pixie dust is a non-official tradition on Disney cruises. It's magic that you give to people. And this can range from door magnets to stickers to bracelets, to keychains, to magnets, to food, lots of different things, but you will receive pixie dust at some point. So just make sure you got some space in your suitcase. Speaking of pixie dusting, once you have signed up for your Disney cruise and it's getting closer, some magical person will create a Facebook event page for your specific cruise. For example, it would say the Disney Wonder sailing dates, blah, 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 to blah, blah, blah from Auckland to Sydney. I highly, highly recommend that you join this group. There are lots of experienced Disney cruise sailors on that page who will be able to answer any and all of your questions. This is where you can sign up for some of those unofficial Disney cruise activities like pixie dusting, fish extender groups, ornament groups. I think we had a Taylor Swift group of some kind, Christmas groups, lots of things. And I'm going to explain the difference between pixie dusting and fish extenders because it's a little bit confusing. Pixie dusting, if you decide you want to actively participate in this and sign up for it, here is what you are in for. You will have a live document where you put your details, like your stateroom number, the name of your guests, and you might say how old you are, if you're celebrating something, if it's your first cruise, maybe some characters you're into. Everyone who is a part of that group has access to it, and it's a guide of what rooms are participating. So it is not compulsory, and you don't have a price limit like a Secret Santa of how much you need to spend or what to give. It is purely a guide for you. That is pixie dusting. You might then spend one of your evenings or one of your days with all your goodies going around to the doors, as many or as little of them as you want, giving some pixie dust. It also gives you a rough idea of how much pixie dust to bring. The confusing part is you will leave your pixie dust in a fish extender. Let me go get mine so I can show you what a fish extender is. This is a fish extender. Why is it called that, do you ask? On the very side of your stateroom door, there is a little fish ornament that you hang this over, hence the name fish extender. This is where you will leave your pixie dust. I've got some magnets in there at the moment. You go through and pop your pixie dust in the pockets. This is still called pixie dusting. The difference between pixie dusting and fish extender groups. Fish extender groups, you are signing up to say, yes, I promise I will do this. And you are generally given a price limit to work within. It could be $20 per stateroom. It could be $50. It's agreed upon by the group or whoever's running that group. So pixie dusting, less obligatory, no price limit, still goes in a fish extender. Fish extender groups, you're promising you're going to do it and you're given a price limit to work within. Still goes in the fish extender. Any other groups that you sign up to, like the ornament one that we had during Christmas, I think there was a Taylor Swift one, they will have a similar set of rules. However, for the ornament one, obviously you're only giving ornaments. I believe each cruise has like a food group where people from different countries will bring their own foods and swap those, and you can make requests. So you really want something from Germany or the States, you can say, hey, anyone coming from here, can you please bring some of these and I'll bring you some Tim Tams or like caramel koalas or shapes, whatever it might be. So that is the difference between all your groups. However, just because you do one doesn't mean you can't do the others. You can do as many as you want. And a lot of people will always carry a little bit of pixie dust with them to give to people they run into or meet. Crew members really appreciate it. They work really hard and they do an incredible job. So a little gift goes a long way to them and it means a lot. And of course, you can always leave things at people's door. So sometimes I would run into someone and I wouldn't have anything on me. I'd ask them for the stateroom number and go drop them a little pixie dust later on. Speaking of stateroom doors, there is this unofficial tradition of people decorating their stateroom doors, and you may have seen this. Again, it is not compulsory, but it is really fun and I highly recommend it. You can go as extreme as you want or as chill as you want. I saw doors with 1 magnet, I saw doors with like 50 magnets on it. I saw 2 adjoining rooms that had like Christmas tinsel joining them together, birthday banners. Some of them have like fairy lights or boats that line up, heaps. Some people have a tradition of having a magnet for every cruise they go on. It's very cool. You can see all the cruises, the destinations that they've been to. Wild story, I met someone on the cruise who was on their 56th Disney cruise. I don't even know how do you afford that? Like, wild. Heaps of people are on in their 20s. 56. I got some catching up to do, let me tell you. And I will be doing it because they're awesome. But yes, stateroom doors, you can get your magnets online. If you want to make your own magnets, you can jump on Google and just type in Disney stateroom door, printable PDF, and that's where I got mine from. I then laminated them, got some magnets from Bunnings, did it that way. You can buy them on AliExpress, Temu. I think Etsy has them, but they're a bit more expensive. I have not seen any on Shein, but they're very cute, or you can make your own. There are really no rules at all. Some people even just got like paper and cut it up. You are not allowed to use adhesives, so no blue tack, no sticky tape. But magnets are fine and your doors are magnetic. But test your magnets on your fridge before you go, because the cheaper the magnets, they do tend to fall down. So just spend a little bit more and get good magnets. Trust me on this. Again, not compulsory, but really fun. And it's so cool walking down the corridors of all the decks with staterooms and seeing all the decorations and the fish extenders. It really adds to the vibrancy and vibe of the ship. Now let's go into your room, okay? A few tips for you in here. This is all to help you with your packing. If you want to celebrate a birthday, but you don't want to buy that onboard gift because they're not cheap, you can bring your own stuff. My mum had her birthday and I went to Kmart and bought a happy birthday banner, and I went to Bunnings and bought some magnetic hooks, hung them up, hung the sign up, done. Beautiful. They don't really mind if you do it. Again, no adhesives, only magnets. And in terms of those magnetic hooks, they are super helpful because you might have a magnetic spot in your bathroom, which is really great to hang your bathers in case that washing line just isn't enough space, depending on how many people are in your stateroom altogether. Okay, so that pixie dusting, the fish extender group, stateroom doors, little extra bits and pieces for your room, that should all help you with your packing. I'm going to get to packing in terms of your embarkation day in a minute, because assuming you're flying into your city the day before, you can always reorganize your suitcase, which is what I did for my cruise, because you got to be strategic. We'll get there in just a minute. Before we do that, I do want to get in embarkation day, starting with what to wear. Again, there are no rules. Wear whatever you want, that's appropriate. If you want to wear jeans and a t-shirt, go for it. I will, however, say I didn't see a single person who was not in something Disney. Some people already had their ears on, some people had a Loungefly lanyard, like ready to party and go. Most people had at a minimum a Disney t-shirt on, and then some kind of pants and their luggage ready to go. So you do get in the spirit from the second you arrive at your dock. And it is awesome to see the ship there and everyone lining up. You really start to feel the atmosphere. So I do highly recommend that you get in the spirit and wear something Disney, but you really don't have to, so don't stress about it. Be you and be comfortable. It's a super happy and friendly, non-judgmental environment. Now here's the thing with Embarkation. You are meant to, before you get to Embarkation Day, in the mail, receive some luggage tags, Disney luggage tags. We received ours a week after our cruise, which is fine. We have them, they're going in my little scrapbook that I'm making, it's fine. But don't stress if you don't receive yours in time. A lot of people don't. When you get to the dock, they will just give you some. It's free, you don't have to pay for it, don't stress. And if you decide to get to your dock 3 hours before your boarding time, like some people I know, that's fine. You can check your bag as soon as you get there so you're not wheeling it around, and then go explore the port area or the dock or whatever you want to do, take pictures, that's fine. But they will not let you line up to check in or go inside until your boarding time. You can line up before, but not 2 hours before. So if your boarding time is 12 o'clock, I would start checking the line at about 11:15, 11:30. And they might say, oh yeah, we've already got people lining up. We're just going to hold you here until that time. Jump in the line, because the sooner you're in that line, the sooner you're on the ship. When it gets to packing, make sure you bring a reusable water bottle. This could be literally a plastic water bottle that you just keep, or like a Stanley cup, a Yeti, Frank Green, whatever it is, a cheap one, doesn't really matter. Basically, there is one level where you can get free drinks from. That would be your pool level. So on the Disney Wonder, it's deck 9. And here is where you get your free soft drinks, free water, free tea, free coffee, hot chocolate. And it's annoying to take a little cup, probably smaller than this, and have to keep going up to refill it. So if you just have a refillable water bottle, even 2 of them, if you want like one with water and one with a soft drink, it just saves you a lot of back and forth. You can buy drinks and water and stuff on the ship, but other than deck 9 at that water stations, everything you have to pay for. So take a reusable water bottle, trust me. I will say that Disney does an incredible job at the check-in process. It's honestly stress-free. It moves really quickly. There was never a point where we were sitting and waiting and getting bored. Like, they do a really good job at keeping things moving, and all the staff are incredibly friendly and help make it more exciting. So you'll line up after checking in your bags, taking all your photos, and when your time comes, they will let you in and you go through kind of like a customs area. In here, you will do your kind of passport control. They will scan your ticket to make sure it's right. You get a little wristband, like one of those paper ones, just to say that yes, you've been checked and you're going to embark today. Once you're on the ship, you can take it off, that's fine. And there are some photo opportunities there. Whether you have purchased the photo package or not, get all the photos you can taken, because you can choose to purchase photos whilst you're on the ship, and you'd rather have them taken than regret it. They also don't care if you ask to take pictures with your phone. They will do both for you. If there's a photo booth, have some photos taken, professionally, non-professionally. You got nothing to lose, I promise. They're not gonna get mad at you for saying, oh, can you take it on my phone? They actually don't care. They're happy to do it, and they're pretty good at it. So you go through check-in, passport control, photos, everything, and eventually you will walk onto your ship, where you get the super magical announcement as you walk on. I won't go into more detail about that. I will leave it a surprise for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. And depending on what time you board, depends on what you want to do. Your bags will not be at your room. Don't go looking for them. What this means is anything that you want with you immediately, you need to have not checked in. So when I said you get to the dock and you can check your luggage in straight away, you kind of want to keep like a hand luggage on you with all your essentials. But I wouldn't take like a rolly suitcase hand luggage. I'd take like a backpack or a beach bag, something like that. If you have kids and you want to go straight to the pool, have your bathers in there. If you want to get autographs straight away from characters, have your autograph book in there. If you want to decorate your room straight away, have your stateroom door decorations in there ready to go. And I feel like a lot of what you want to do will depend on your boarding time, which is why that check-in is so important. The later you board, the less time you have to do stuff. Because once you're boarded, generally everyone goes straight to lunch. Lunch can be had at specific dining places. So normally 1 or 2 of the rotational dinner dining places are open for lunch. or you can go to cabanas. I'm going to get there in just a moment, but I want to finish this first. After you've had your lunch, again, depending on when you've checked in and boarded the ship, you will have different amount of times before the mandatory safety drill. Everyone has to attend this. Don't think you can be the person that hides in their room and doesn't go, because they do not start until everyone is there and they check. If they don't have you, they will go find you. It is a legal obligation. So just be there. It's not that bad. It's not long at all. You'll be given a different location. You find it, you go there, you sit through it. Done and dusted. From the mandatory drill, you go straight to the sailor wave party. I'm going to go back a bit to that lunch. Like I said, depending on your boarding time depends on how much time you have to have lunch before you get to the mandatory safety drill. Check-in time, very important. For that lunch, most people will go up to cabanas, which is like the buffet style, help yourself. It gets really busy and tables get taken up. You can get your food and go take it down to the deck where the pools are. That's totally fine. They don't care. But it is a little bit less hectic to go to one of the rotational dining restaurants. And if you have a dietary requirement like myself, I'm celiac and can't eat seafood either, I would avoid going to cabanas first and go straight to a formal seated area for lunch. Here is why it's less crowded. You want to ask to place your order for that night or even the next day's breakfast. Do you have to put orders in? No. Is it easier for everyone involved if you pre-order? Yes. There were mornings before I knew this where I would rock up to cabanas for breakfast and go and give them my order, and they made it no fuss. However, the days where I had gone before to my dinner and given them my order for the next morning, a little bit quicker, easier. It's also less stressful for those chefs on board. So it's just a nicer experience all around. So lunch, either go to cabanas or one of the rotational dining restaurants that are open. Strategy. We're going back to the mandatory safety drill. After your mandatory safety drill, there is no time to go back to your room. You want to go straight up onto the deck to get ready for the sail a wave party. This is so much fun. And basically this is the show that happens where you say goodbye, the city that you're in, and your ship sails away. If you love being in the action, in the dance party, a part of it, ready to have the best time, be on the deck that has the actual show on it. For the Disney One Day, it was on deck 9. Obviously, the ships will have different decks depending on what the ship is. If you are someone who loves to watch from a distance and get the atmosphere, but you don't necessarily want to be all up and in it, go to the level above, so deck 10 on the Disney Wonder. There is a balcony. You have a brilliant view. You still get to be a part of it. There's the funnel vision TV that broadcasts what's happening, but you're not in the crowd, okay? So depending on what you want to do or experience, 9 or 10. Again, these decks might change depending on the ship that you are on. By the time the sail away party is done, your bag should be pretty close to getting to your room. So you can either go explore more of the ship, start to meet Captain Minnie, Captain Mickey, or Sailor Pluto, whoever else is out, or you can go check in at your stateroom, meet your stateroom host, maybe your bag's in there, unpack, get settled. Pop your suitcases under the beds. They are designed to be a certain height to put your suitcases there to save space, okay? So don't live out of a suitcase, unpack, it'll be a way more pleasant experience. I think that is everything that you need to know from booking to embarkation day. To find out more about the actual Disney cruise on board itself, check out my next video, which is coming up very soon. If you have any questions or any tips that you know of that I've missed, so questions, top tips, anything, please pop them in the comments. I would love to hear from you and I will try and answer all the questions that I possibly can. I hope that you have a super magical day and I will see you next time.